Arkansas Teacher Corps Growth Presentation, Year 3 by Jessica Rayner. Authentic reciprocal relationships. With an emphasis in classroom culture, community engagement, professional collaboration. Classroom culture. My year one, my environment, the classroom culture was an environment of love and respect. My year one was a bit different than everyone else's when you look on a scale, because my year one was actually better than my year two. So usually people have it hard their first year, but my first year I thought was easy breezy. The difference in my first year and how I've grown to my third year, my environment is still of love and respect. Um, but there's also a team atmosphere. So when you come into my classroom, you'll see that my students are helping each other and they're comfortable with each other and we love each other and they're not afraid to ask for help. I built that on purpose because we do have a range of learning in our classroom, and I wanted students to be unafraid to ask for help. I wanted it to be like a family, and that's what we are. And just like any family, we have our challenges, but above all, we love each other. Community engagement, year one, I did not have any community engagement. Like, I did not go to any football games, basketball games, anything related to my students or the school period. I went to work and home. I guess I had a lot of things going on in my life, and I didn't make the cut in that area. But year three, I have actually lost count of how many home football and basketball games I've went to. I even attended a church service of one of my students. Also, we have like a little unofficial game section at the basketball games, and so when the teachers in my building, when we go to the games, we sit in our little section and we have fun and we cheer our students on, and I'm glad that I'm at this point. My next growth, I'm looking forward to growing and traveling to away games with my students and being there to support them and going to community functions and different things like that. I can collaborate and develop partnerships and relationships with other community members with. Professional collaboration, year one, I basically talked to the other core members, Dedrick Cross and Carrie Lee. We have formed some lifelong bonds, but I didn't really learn anybody else's name besides the people on my hallway. Um, and I really didn't notice that until my sister came to work with us, I believe the second year. And she like knew everyone's name and everything, and she was like, "Have you seen Miss Such and Such?" And I'm like, "Who is that?" And so I did not end year two learning their names, but year three, I actually took time. I talked to them in the hallway. I learned their names. I visited with them. They helped me with a lot of my activities. I help them, I assist them, especially as a lead teacher, with things that they needed. And they helped me back. And we actually had this unofficial chicken salad club. So it's a group of teachers. Dedrick Cross is in the club, and we kind of like eat chicken salad, and different people bring it, different people make it, and we kind of like decide if it's good or not, and who has the best chicken salad. We spent a lot of time together in the break room on lunch break. We talked about students. We talked about problems, issues. We even talked about politics. I will be voting this year. And we talked about personal things as well. It was very beneficial. It was a great experience. My third year was my first year spending time eating and visiting with my coworkers in the break room. This is a game day picture I have on my Dollarway colors. This is a game day picture. The seventh grade football players, I taught them all because I taught all the seventh graders. This is homecoming parade. Seventh grade football rules. Oh, don't nobody love me but my students. So this is Valentine's Day, and this is just a video I included to show the love and the relationship that we have. Nobody else got me anything for Valentine's Day, but my students came through. One of my students got me a little snack pack. That's all I got for today. Shout out to her. Rigorous responsive instruction with an emphasis in essential content, demonstration of learning, academic ownership. So, year one, I taught solely from the textbook, and that's just pretty much it. Year three, there was some growth on the ACT Aspire teaching that way, but I think it was about 9% growth that I had that year. Year three, I did use the textbook, but as a resource, I created a bunch of the tests. I confirmed that the content that I was teaching from the book, using it as a guide, was actually aligned with the Arkansas State standards. Anything that I needed to change or alter in order to fit, I was confidently able to do that. I differentiated instruction from the beginning to the end. It was planned, it was embedded in the lesson plans, and that's the way it was. My students, they got to use choice boards, they got to use all type of things that they did not get to use my first year. So it's a lot of growth there. One of my biggest things in essential content that I'm going to master next year, and that's spiraling. So I did not spiral much my third year, but I'm going to spiral the whole entire year next year. Demonstration of learning. Year one, we just used the textbook assessments, and year three, I actually created some of the assessments. I gave them choices of the type of assessments they wanted to have. It was more like this test or this type of test. It wasn't like a bunch of tests that they could choose from. Formative assessment, checks for understanding, summative assessments. We used Plickers. We used everything. Exit tickets. We used everything that you could think of. We used my favorite platform that I learned this year is Quizzes. We used that. Of course, we used Kahoot. We used everything. I learned about IXL through my my ATC coach. We use data to drive instruction, so that was big. That was something major that I did this year that was not driving my instruction last year. So I was able to group students a certain way and form the exit ticket, the do now a certain way for the next day based on their exit tickets and different things like that. Academic ownership. Year one, some students asked the teacher for help, test returned, then they committed to doing better. Well, year three, students actually tracked their own data. They helped grade assessments. They corrected their assessments for points. They were able to, and they were performing mini error analysis on their work and of their peers' work. They were able to voice their concerns of misunderstandings. They were unafraid to ask for help from the teacher or their peers, and I really, really love that. Here they're performing a card sort, and we did a card sort probably twice a month. Students solving multi-step word problems. So this is a cool little activity where they have the boards and the marker boards actually have a guide for them, like what are they asking you for? What do you need to solve this problem? And then another question, and then it has a space for you to actually show your work. And this is group work. Group work, and as you can see, I have a timer in the back for efficiency. Critical consciousness, self-awareness, social awareness, systemic awareness. I had a student, and she was from Bangladesh. Aplika Manasan, that means how are you? And if you say balo, that means good. no beef. So she doesn't eat beef, and that was known because I made an effort for her to. I gave her opportunities intentionally for her to tell us about her and her culture. She was able to pull up things and show us things on YouTube and on Google. And her class actually won a behavior party, and so I wanted to make sure that we had some things at the party for her to be able to eat. She decided that she wanted to eat fish, and we got it okay by her parent, and was given permission, and she ate fish, and then others had pizza and rotel and things like that with beef in it. This is Kobe Bryant's commencement, and I knew that Kobe Bryant had passed because it was viral, and he I came into the classroom. I planned to teach math just like any other day, and one of my students was like, "Miss Rainer, can we please, please, please watch Kobe Bryant's commencement?" And I could not refuse that. And I wanted to do something with my students in mind. We did do 15 minutes of math work. If I could go back, or for next year, one of my growth points is being able to dedicate a whole entire class period for my students and not feeling like I need to do 15 minutes of math to make myself feel justified. This is a picture from, I guess they had announced about the coronavirus over their intercom, and my students came to class and they were afraid, and they had all this paper towel and covering their noses like they thought they were going to get the coronavirus immediately. And so they looked to you for, for help, assistance, knowledge, guidance, and they need you in those times, and you just provide comfort and as much information as you can for them. Systemic change, change management, school leadership, advocacy, and allyship. This is my graduation picture. I graduated with my master's in 2019. Systemic change. Year one, I basically attended all professional developments for ATC, my school, and at the co-op, or any requirements that I had. Year two, I attended all ATC professional developments. I completed the Rural Leadership Academy for Teach for America, which is an awesome, cool program that you guys should look into and think about being a part of if you want to go into leadership of any sort. Um, I was a part of the leadership team, the handbook committee, and I was a PBIS coach. I also received my master's year two of education. Year three, I was on the leadership team, the district guided coalition team. I was a lead teacher. I was on the personnel policy committee. I led a PD presentation. I will have my master's hopefully in May of this year in ed leadership. I actually passed my SLLA already. All I need to do is pass this internship, and I will have my master's in ed leadership. I began an initiative with Dedrick Cross for student laundry on campus, which, as a goal, because we did not follow through and complete the project. So we need to complete the project. And for year four, one of my goals is to, when I'm advocating for students and things like that, make sure I make action steps, put dates on it, take those actions, and actually follow through and come through for my students. All of these leadership activities and things like that I'm a part of, you don't have to be a part of that in order to be a leader, in order to advocate for your students and things like that. But those things do get you in the room and get you around the right people for a better advantage. Especially like some of my students, they want me to communicate about incentives, they want me to communicate about a math bee and things like that, and I was directly in the room to do that. I wanted to quit so bad, but I didn't. I made it to the top. So this picture is of one of the activities we did in the Rural School Leadership Academy. And this hike is not a beginner's trail. This is an advanced trail. And it was my first time hiking. And so I made it about 3/4 of the way. And I actually wanted to quit. but I didn't. People were passing me and things like that, and I'm just not